Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Good evening, good evening. This is Lady Estelle, the Street Soldier Crew, and we are back for a Palm Sunday evening with you. Your host this evening is glad to see that we are still here, healthy. We are alive and free. Your host, Dr. Joseph E. Marshall Jr.
Thank you, Lady E. Happy Palm Sunday, everyone. Happy Palm Sunday. It is, once again, Street Soldiers Alive and Free Radio. Making it good in your neighborhood, stopping the violence, all of those things. That's what we do. There's not much that we don't talk about on this show, especially when it comes to your life and your freedom. It's that simple. Nobody else does it. And we do think, and it has been proved, that if you listen and apply, that's the key. You listen and apply the things that we suggest on this show, you greatly increase your chances of staying alive and free. That means living long and not going to jail. Okay, I know you doubt it. It don't make no sense. We got people who can attest to it, but you know, you listen, try it out. Anyway, thanks for joining us once again on this Sunday evening. And it's been a busy weekend. Gotta say hello to the soul, because he steps up first this time. And I don't know what he wants to share. He can share what he wants to share. But you may not want to share nothing. So I ain't gonna say nothing. He goes, oh, man, Mike, look. Did you see him, Mike?
We got to put that on 106 Cameo. Can we get a picture of that? We're gonna put that on the website.
The Rock. Boy, that's a
nice.
big one, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Little different, you know, a little something.
You got a picture?
It's beautiful.
We're gonna put that on the Cameo on the Instagram.
Him and the lady?
I mean that picture for
that
sure.
picture. Oh yeah, that ring, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
Welcome.
Right on. Thanks, y'all. What's up, family? How you doing?
Oh, he got a silk shirt on.
Yeah, man,
Oh,
I'm still in wedding mode, you know.
Okay.
Hey, brother, I had the silk robe, the silk boxers. I had silk everything, okay?
Shiny, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Oh man, but Malcolm's smooth, man. He's smooth. You know, he's a lot smoother than me. He's smooth.
Right.
He's more romantic to me. I'm depressed. He is. Malcolm's like Malcolm.
Where's the honeymoon gonna be?
Hey, my son is smoother than me, okay?
yeah. The he's smooth too.
The grandson, he on a whole nother level from both of us. So,
it was a beautiful wedding, man.
Thanks for being a part of it, y'all. It was a good weekend.
Hey,
ready for a great show tonight. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm going to sleep soon. I ain't been to sleep yet, so.
You sound like you've been having fun.
And working, you know. And maybe some people have those weddings where they just sit back and everyone does everything and they don't.
No, not
I don't know. I didn't live that life.
No, that wasn't you.
I was working. But you know, it felt good. Somebody came up to me, to Aurora and I, and they said, "Hey, you know, that's how we do. We serve people," and that made me feel better about it because I was working.
He was working.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he was working.
And lady, we give you kudos once again for officiating the ceremony. That's the second one of my children that Lady E has officiated.
Anybody needs a wedding officiant? Yeah, yes. Lady E is open for business, and she's the best in the business. So
She's good.
Oh.
She will
How
bless
much
your
you charge?
union, boy. She will bless your union. Put her hands over her heart. Yeah, man, it was just beautiful.
She's so intentional, lady. You're just, you're amazing already. But going through the process with you was just so beautiful. You captured the essence of our relationship and the ceremony. And like I said, anybody out there, you proposed, you ready, planning the ceremony. You need someone to bring you across the finish line. Lady Estelle's the one you need.
It's wedding season.
It is wedding season, huh? Yeah, right now. Beautiful weather yesterday. Beautiful weather in the Bay all weekend. So
you and Aurora are delightful. And I tell you what, it touched my heart. It's important to be present and hold the space for the people going through this process. And at one point, it got inside me so deep that I was like, I had to pause. Because that love between you just permeated, and it's outside. And so it just filled up the space. It was pretty wonderful.
And right if you didn't know the story of the relationship, it was all in the vows. Y'all did some vows, brother.
I had the end of my vows. It didn't print. I had turned the page around. I thought the ending was going to be on the vows. I left the end at the house, so I just had to wing
it. You were winging so much stuff yesterday. I thought, but he was so cool. Let me just say, he was so cool with it. I'm like, Malcolm, he said, all right, Lee, I'll be right there. All right, I'll be right there. Give me just a minute. And he was just going.
He was conducted the whole time. Conducting, the music. Well, yeah, man. Yeah, brother. Yeah. I love the story.
I'll take care of it. All right, I got it.
You going out with her for the first time and you changed clothes 4 times. You was that nervous.
Sometimes you just got to get it right. You got to get it dialed in.
But if I can just say one more thing. At the end, one of the things that he said that's just, classic Malcolm and priceless, and just we need to bottle you, when he said she was really happy. She was really happy.
Yeah.
I want one of them that's working around and then gonna make sure. See, as long as you were happy.
Hey, the way I look at it, if somebody sees my wife and she got the smile on the face, that's all they need to know about me. All right.
He said she was really happy. Oh, I know that's right. Hey.
Okay. Great day, brother. Many years. Many years of marital bliss. All right. I got all the pics right here. Yeah.
Other than that, it was a lot of basketball going on this weekend. I didn't get to watch it, but
can we get that in before we go to the guests? All right, man.
Let's see what I want to hear what Mike got to say about the play-in.
What you got?
Oh yeah, off games, man.
I know that.
Can't be tricking off games. Too many games tricked off.
What'd you think about today's game?
Great game, high level game.
Yes, it was.
I think that they might be the top 3-4 teams in the playoffs, but we're gonna see if the Warriors can win on Tuesday convincingly and then get in. We'll see.
Why is Ja Morant throwing grenades in the crowd?
Because it's a new celebration. I actually think it's actually pretty cool. But
that boy like to test things.
He just
like doing it. But let me just say this, man. It was so good. I don't know how long it's gonna last. See Kawhi Leonard back in top. You're a basketball fan. See Kawhi Leonard back in top form.
Agreed.
That duel between him and Jimmy Butler was worth the price of admission right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful NBA playoffs. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a must-see basketball every day. If you're a hoop fan, NBA fan, it's coming, and it's gonna be here. It's gonna be fun. All right, we got any news? You got some news. So you had some news that I didn't print. What? So what was your news? I didn't print it because
I wasn't really paying attention this week. I was a
know.
little busy.
No, I'm sorry. It was my
But
bad.
I did hear about the one thing I did hear about. Maybe Mike, you know about it. Was that tragedy in the nightclub that happened? Where we lost like 100 people. 100 people died or something like that. Did y'all hear about that?
Tragedy in the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Oh,
because
wow.
I think because it was a guy who used to pitch for the A's, if I'm not mistaken. That's how I heard about it. There was a connection.
Nightclub roof collapse kills at least 184 people in the Dominican Republic, including former MLB players. Wow.
The roof collapsed?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Boy. They were inside of Jet Set nightclub early Tuesday morning in the capital of Santo Domingo when the collapsed around 1 a.m. During a performance of merengue artist Ruby. It's like it's Ruby Perez and his orchestra. Wow.
Was there any indication? Did the news say whether or not there was any indication that something was about to happen?
No, they didn't say anything about.
I mean, you would assume they wouldn't be having a concert, or unless,
Aerial footage showed the venue with a wide gaping hole in the middle of the building where the audience would have been located during the performance. Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
Terrible tragedy. Yeah,
terrible.
On the music front, in a different venue, Soul sent me this story about We Want the Funk. Malcolm, I believe he sent me.
Yeah, for all you music lovers out there, got a new PBS documentary came out this week, and I hear it's really good.
Traces the roots of funk music.
Oh, wow. I'm going to check it out tonight.
Black contributions to American history and culture keep getting erased. Independent art stands as a vile act and resistance of resistance and remembrance. We want the funk. We want funk. Okay. It's a vibrant documentary that celebrates the revolutionary sound and cultural legacy of 1970s funk. Directed by Stanley Nelson and Nicole London. It premiered on PBS's Independent Lens on April 8th. It offers a dynamic exploration of funk's evolution, tracing its roots from African soul and early jazz influences to the explosion in the 1970s. All right. It's got all of the great names, George Clinton, Questlove, and more guide viewers through a pulsating exploration of funk's golden age, honoring the icons like James Brown, Sly, the Bay Arizona Sly Family Stone, and Parliament, Funkadelic. That's going to be good. Everybody like funk. Everybody loves the funk. Everybody likes the funk.
I don't trust people who don't like the funk.
Facts.
So, Mike, you going to check it out?
Of course.
Right.
I love music.
PBS. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right.
I love music.
I got a little bug here, but I'm good. Got my cough drops. Got everything. Yeah. And gave me some little stuff to drink. I got some little, all this stuff. So,
You ain't been watching that back, brother.
What the back got to do with that?
A lot, man.
No, come on, man. You attribute the back to everything. Watching back to world peace.
Yep.
Walking back.
Yep.
You watching back to climate change?
Yep.
Come on, man. Stop. Please, man. If it was that simple, well,
hey,
you would be in demand.
But everybody ain't watching their back though. So the experiment.
What I tell you, man?
What's that?
Have you done the business wash your back thing yet?
I got it. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
I got hoodies. I'm working T-shirts.
But you got to get one of them.
You got to get the trademark.
I got to get the back.
You got to get the back thing. Wash your back.
You right.
People get them.
Right.
Not that we announcing it on the radio or anything.
I know, right?
All right.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
Usually you announce it after you get the trademark, but
right.
It's just our friends listening, so we good.
All right. Tonight we got some guests hanging out in. It's going to pop on the Zoom tonight. We're going to talk to the latest participants from our Alive and Free prescription training. They are joining us on Street Soldiers, share their experiences in the classroom. I don't see everybody yet, but I'll take who we got. I mean, I had like I may have to text some folks. You know, Luther may have to text some folks. And you know, this, what I say early on, we really believe that the things we tell you here on this show will help keep you alive and free. Seriously, you know, we've done it for years. The prescription, the methodology, the advice has been proven. You know, we give it to our young people, our students that going to go off to college. They use it when they're in, shall we say, precarious situations. And they say, man, you know, if you know, we teach them some stuff and they use it. And so, you know, so, okay, every once in a while, we get folks that want to learn it all at once. What is the entire prescription, Dr. Marshall? And so we do, every once in a while, we do these. We call them the Alive and Free Training Institute. And they have been phenomenal over the years. I'm good. Phenomenal over the years. And they're so intense. At the end of them, I think they ain't never want to see me again. Cause I mean, I'm like, I think this thing, I go hard on the prescription because I believe, you know, it's gonna save you if you use it, right? You know, I gotta deal with, you know, butt and it's hard and what am I gonna do? And you know, I mean, I gotta have all of it. I try to pack it into 3 days, so it's a very intense 3 days. And I always tell them, and if you didn't like school, you're not gonna like this. Because this is school for 3 days. And it's personal. So Mike, when it's over, I tell them, okay, y'all rid of me, but I want to check back in a few weeks to see, you know, how you feel now and what you think. So in this last training, we had some wonderful people, people from a huge group from Seattle, Washington, somebody from Pomona, California, somebody from Pasadena, somebody from San Diego, Stefan, who always comes. And then we had a couple of community ambassadors who came, and 2 or 3, actually 3 or 4 community ambassadors. And again, oh God, no. So she says it's not here. The Zoom link's not here. I don't know what this, I sent her the Zoom link. Okay, and you trying to do it. Okay. And, you know, so yeah, they're here. Some of them, I had like 13. I only see like not 5, but I'm going to take who I got. Okay. And we're going to one with it. So let's, and I'm going to text the people as I begin to talk. You have to multitask when you're doing this show. I've done it many times. So let's start with Douglas Morris. Say hello to everybody and just wave your hand in the air like you really do care. Douglas, say what's up. But you got to unmute first, brother. You got to unmute. Okay, you unmute. Yeah.
I was trying to unmute, Doc. I'm a senior citizen. It takes a little while. I was trying to unmute. I got the senior citizen thing going on here. And so I am glad to be alive and free.
Thank you. That's yes, the goal. That's the goal.
Exactly. From San Diego. I'm coming from San Diego here.
San Diego. Gerald Bradford, say what's up.
Greetings, Dr. Marshall. Mr. Morris, it's nice to see you, brother. And my team from Seattle. It's nice to be in space with you, Dr. Marshall. We've been living and breathing alive and free since we hit the town.
All right, we're gonna hear more about that. Let me go to Dominique Davis. Dominique Davis, say what's up.
What's happening? How you doing, Doc? It's good to be here.
What's up, man?
Hey, look, I'm excited about coming and seeing you again and bringing more of my team down, man.
Oh, man, I didn't scare you away. Okay, all right. Deontay Damper, what's up? What's up, brother?
How you doing, Dr. Marshall? So happy to be here. You know, I'm still listening to rap music, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you, man. Very happy to be here.
As long as you know what you're listening to, and it ain't running you running it. It's all good. Cat Rosales, what's up?
Well, Doc, good to see you. Good to hear your voice. I swear, I wish you guys were just down the street because I would be over there all the time.
Well, you know, figure something out. and let me just say, long time. This lady is the big time disciple of Alive and Free, Eleuthera.
That's
Lish.
Eleuthera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Malcolm.
What's up, lady?
Malcolm,
Nice to see
it's
you.
so good to see you. I'm beaming. And Lady Estelle too. I'm just so grateful to see you here. And Doc, it was of course an honor to come back. This is let's see, I first came in 99, so I'm not going to do the math, but that's the math right there. So delighted to have had a chance to bring my team down there. Can I just say this, Doc, real quick? Deontay was nominated for an Emmy. So, yep, I just wanted to say that because he found out 2 days ago Deontay was nominated for an Emmy.
For what? You
Tell us
movie
the story.
star here, Denzel Washington Bros or something? What's up?
There's actually a person, a great brother that we also partner with by the name of Kendrick Glover, Dr. Kendrick Glover. He's beat the adversities that we have talked about to overcoming gun violence to now. He's now the Rose Group from Concrete. So we did a documentary on that, and it was just recently nominated for a Northwest Emmy out here. So
no kidding.
Congratulations,
absolutely.
brother.
Right, bro.
Yo,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you all very much.
Oh man, you better win, man. You don't win, you better win. And we like, I don't want to rig it, but like we got the extra votes or something. You know, I mean, you know, we gonna vote, right? That is amazing.
Hey, well, being nominated is winning also. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. So that's incredible.
Big stuff. And Mark Rivers also just joined us, Doc.
Yeah, that Mark, what's up? Say hi.
What's up, Doc?
The rest of these folks. What's up, man?
Doc, what's up to all the people, man?
Yeah. I like that. You got the A stuff on. I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Can I have that? You know, I'm a hoodie guy.
Yeah. yeah.
I got what I got, right?
Yeah. We'll get
Ali. Ain't nobody like Ali, you know.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
That A's hat is fresh though. I like
Appreciate
that. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Like that green, man. That's a different kind of shade. Mike, you see that?
Yeah, he fly.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
Yeah.
Coming on Street Soldier.
Hold on, I just want people to know, so because Dr. Marshall's talking it up, you got to go ahead and visit us on our YouTube live at Stay Alive and Free in order to check out all of our guests in their attire. And you can also always take us on the go with our podcasts and keep up with Alive and Free when you go to stayaliveandfree.org.
All right. Paul couldn't make it tonight, so and Ernesto said he would try and make it. Leonard said he'd call in. So we'll go who we got. So let's begin by telling everybody what you do. Where's Stefan? I'm about to whoop it. I'm sorry. That's not Alive and Free. Okay, I'm gonna have to tell everybody what you do, what your job is, you know. And so let's start with you, Douglas. He's a Douglas.
That's all right. You can call me Doug. You can call me
Douglas,
Doug.
man. You earned Douglas, man. When you were young, you're Douglas now. Okay?
But you're right about that one. Okay, what I'm currently doing is I'm working with Mental Health America, and I'm a facilitator with what they call a fatherhood program. And so I'm currently doing a 12-session workshop with fathers most of my fathers are currently incarcerated, or they are in a rehab center. And so I'm working with them to reunite them with their children.
Wow.
And it's a 12-session curriculum that we're using. And just talking about some basic things about knowing yourself. For example, that you address. Can you hear me? Okay.
Pause, right?
No, I can't hear
Can
him.
someone else talk? Lady Estelle, can you say something?
Okay,
hear me?
yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear other people talking too.
Okay, Doug, try it again because I
But I
lost.
see Gerald with his hand up. It looks like he's frozen too.
Okay, Gerald's.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, you back. All right.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so want me to start from the beginning?
No, it's cool. It's good. Got a lot of folks. No,
I
no.
got you. No, I was just saying it was 5 areas that we focus on within that group. It's
Yeah.
called within the fathering program. It's just self-awareness, caring for self, parenting skills, fathering skills, and relationship skills.
There's a
Okay.
documentary, I think it's on Netflix, that I have yet to watch. I think Ann told me about it. It's about fathers, daughters visiting their fathers. It's a father-daughter dance, but
Okay.
in prison, right?
Okay.
And I gotta watch it because I really want to really during June when we have Father's Day coming up. But I just saw a little of the previews, and the men are all, putting their tie. Normally they have on their prison attire, if you can call it attire, and then the young ladies, and you see them walking out. And I know it's a tearjerker. But it might be something. When I watch it, I'll let you know because it's something.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because I will show it to them.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. Fathers and daughters. Okay, Kat, tell everybody what you do.
Everyone, Pat Rosales, administrator for the Regional Office of Gun Violence Prevention, King County Public Health. I am program managing our Washington State Commerce Planning Grant for the build out of the Community Violence Intervention Wellbeing Academy. That was the team that we brought to Dr. Marshall's training. That includes Mark here, Dom, and I see Gerald and Eleuthera, and 2 other people from our team who could not be here.
Thank you. Mark, tell everybody what you do.
Hey, everybody. Mark Rivers, Deputy Director over our community safety teams at Community Passageways. Man, it's a blessing and an honor to be out here with the doctor. Got a lot of stuff to share from our time there.
And you're going to get all the time you need to share it. 'Cause I'm really, it's one thing to get it then, but take it back and marinate on it. Ooh,
yeah.
Lord. Okay, Dom, tell everybody what you do.
I do whatever Kat and Mark tell me to do. Now I'm Dominique Davis. I'm the CEO and founder of an organization called Community Passageways. I guess I could just say I'm about community building.
Yeah.
I have multiple business entities in the community, and just about every single one of them is about serving our people in our community. So I'm a community builder, I guess you could label me as. And at the same time, my goal is to empower our community to heal our community. That's my goal, to pull the same people that are facing the same issues in our community to go out and solve those problems in the community because we have the answers.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Deontay.
Yes, I am the King County I'm the Community Engagement Specialist for the Regional Office of Gun Violence Prevention for King County Public Health. How I see the position is continuing to be that bridge between government entities, our community-led organizations, and our community, continuing to uplift programs such as the wonderful Community Passageways, Urban Family, as well as Freedom Project and Progress Pushers. But above all else, just continuing to be that bridge. And again, doing what Eleuthera tells me to do.
We're going to get to the big dog in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Gerald.
Hey, Dr. Marshall. Great to be in space with you. So my name is Gerald Bradford, and I'm the reentry manager at Renton Technical College, and I work with system-impacted people who are coming home from prison. But on my part-time work, myself and my team are going down and working with our most vulnerable populations in the King County Juvenile Jail, where I have been really sharing alive and free with the young people. And it's just been amazing to see their responses to the Coach Jiggett's sayings, coachisms.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
I've been just really, I enjoyed the training, Dr. Marshall, And I haven't stopped talking about my time in San Francisco with you, with this team, and the wonderful folks that we took the training with. So again, I'm just happy to be in space with you all this evening.
Luther, you're the what you want, the godmother, the godfather. Look, this wouldn't be there if it wasn't for her. Okay, she took the training like a long time ago, and was born again. How they say it, and she was what they say in church. Anyway, she was sanctified. Okay, and she took it straight back. And she's been, doing it in Seattle ever since. So Luther, tell everybody what you do.
Thank you, Doc. Well, I am currently serving as the director for the Regional Office of Gun Violence Prevention. It's the first Office of Gun Violence Prevention, Martin Luther King Jr. County. And we got 13 cities that all need Alive and Free, but you got the right people who came down this time to be able to spread it. And Doc, when you said that just now, I certainly came back evangelizing, but true to the medicine, I needed to take the medicine. So I think it's safe to say I got saved.
And that's the one thing we always emphasize. If folks come to get some information to help other people, and I tell them like that first day, no, this is for you. You got to use it on you first. You are your first client, if I can say that, right? And then that's a little bit challenging, especially when I say, you're gonna do some homework tonight. They'd be like, what? Stefan, jump in. Man, you and Luther I'd have known. Oh man, her first, you second. Tell everybody who you are, where you
Stefan Wilson. Okay. Thank you, Doc. Stefan Wilson from San Diego, Live and Free San Diego. Good to see all you guys again. Just happy to be here. What a great training. I mean, I'm good to see Mr. Estelle, Lady Estelle, and ready to go. Let's do this.
Thank you, Stefan. And you come to every training. You've seen them all. This one ranked way up there. It did rank way up there. So let's start from the beginning. Well, I don't know. There's so many ways to go here. You're there. You're sitting in the room, and here I go. And let's start with my proposition of why violence is so hard to stop. I mean, that's where I always start. Why is violence so difficult to control, to stop, so on and so forth? And I hope that this generally resonates with people, but to the listening audience, people say, why is there so much violence? And the first thing I always say is a lot of people that violence is in man's nature. It's natural for men to be violent. I've heard that before. You ever heard that, Mike? I've never heard that. Natural.
Yep.
In man's nature. The second reason is violence is historical. Violence is, man, you go back to in history.
Yeah.
Everybody's offing everybody, right? From the Roman Empire, Alexander the Great, and on up through history. Very few instances that we know where violence was not practiced like it has been practiced. In fact, I even said the word practice wasn't used like it's used in the history that I grew up learning. The third reason is violence is profitable. Violence makes money. Violence makes money. Arms trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking. Rappers rap about violence, right? It makes money for people, right? It makes money for people. Private prisons, you got to pay. It makes money. So, and then probably the basic reason is people believe that violence is a way to solve their problem. You got an issue with somebody? Yeah, and I always say it starts, from when you go to school the first day, and your mama tells you if he hits you, hit him back, right? You don't say call home. You don't say talk to the teacher. She may say that second or third, but he be keeping hit him back because I ain't gonna be there, right? So you learn very early on that if you got an issue, maybe violence is a way to deal with it, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So anytime we look at violence, I know what we're up against. And in trying to create a nonviolent world, man, I always say the only person I know of who didn't believe in violence as a problem solver was Martin Luther King Jr., right? And all the homies we work with, they be like, I'm on. They start with I'm on, and then they say what they gonna do. I'm on. So Yeah, that set the tone of what we're trying to get into. And so if we can save anybody in a world where we're up against those four things, my Lord, we should blaze. We are saints, okay? Because everybody I know think balance is useful. Ursula, I didn't see you. You made it in. Say hi. Say where you work, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, my Ursula. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Yes. She's still muted. Yeah, she's still muted. Yeah, she doesn't always use Zoom.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. What's up, girl?
Long time no see.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Tell everybody what you do.
My name is Ursula, and I work with the Community Ambassadors Program that's run out of the Office of the Civic Engagement and Immigration Affairs, OCF.
Yep.
You basically do engage community and do safety escorts and no enforcement or anything. But.
Thank you for joining us tonight. And Ursula, you were my student that I used all the time. Sometimes I just talk to you and everybody else listen. She sat right in front of me, and I was like, now Ursula, what you think about this? And she allowed it. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Okay. Let's start with overall impressions. Douglas, before we get to the pieces, overall impression of the training.
Overall impression. I'm still being impressed by the training, Doc. The overall impression was what I liked about it was that not only did you define what was going on, like you said, with the whole violence piece, you also had the symptoms of it, and then you had the solution. And then if you stuck around on Tuesday night, you saw some of the anecdotal become the empirical data and how to put things in place. Yeah. So you covered every aspect of how to identify a problem, how to identify possible solutions, and also how to implement some of those possible solutions. And we saw the solutions at work if you stuck around for Tuesday night. So I was overly impressed with the whole spectrum just in those first 2 days.
I like that because this is all theory, but Tuesday night theory becomes practice, and everything we teach you, we teach them, and they be like, and you see, man, they really listen to this stuff, right? They just say they wasn't lying. These kids are sitting here and getting it on, learning this stuff, and I did not, Lady E, we did not introduce you so introduce yourself to the group. No, you need to because. Yeah, go ahead. Introduce yourself to.
Good evening, everybody, and it's good to see everybody. It's unfortunate that I was not able to be in the room. Sometimes I'm on the wall, but the best place is to be in the room when you're in the room as well. So thank you for being here and hearing your feedback and your comments about your experience, the impact of it, and how it's staying with you and how you're using it, how it's changing and transforming not just you, but the people whose lives you touch is pretty amazing. My role and responsibility has been to be the coordinator of the Leadership Academy. I write the curriculum and work with the young people who come on Tuesday nights. And then on Thursday nights, myself and my partner, my teammate, for the last 20 years, Mr. Mitra, we teach the college prep class. We show up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're on the wall. When we're able to be in the room, hot dog. So nice to see you and meet you. It's good to see you, Eleuthera.
Thanks.
Is that all right, Dr. Marshall? Did I do okay?
You always do.
All right. Thank you.
Pat, what stood out for you? 3 days. You'd be like, man, I got to spend 3 days here. What stood out to your overall impression? That's the question that I asked, Doug. That's the question I'm gonna ask everybody. Kat, yes.
I wish it was longer. Is that a weird thing to say?
I've heard that.
It was a lot, and it was intense, and I just wanted to soak it all in again. So, I just wanted to say, and I've been sharing this with all my friends and my husband, like it completely transformed how I parent.
Wow.
And reflection on the things that I went through in life. You started the day with talking about old ideas from your perspective.
Yeah.
How a lot of people say, the things that they went through in life, they are glad that they went through that because it made them a better person. And you said, consider this. How about we acknowledge the survival process instead of focusing on the tragedy? Yeah. Like, to me, that was like mind blown, because you hear that a lot, right? You hear people say, I'm glad that I went through blank because it made me who I am today, or it made me stronger. And you said that, making these kind of statements make it seem as if the tragedies are prescriptive, quote, for personal growth and improvement. And that stuck with me. Yeah, there was a lot, all of it.
Yeah, from a doctor's standpoint, we would prefer that you not get infected or sick in the first place. And it's a survival process that makes you stronger. So I knew that stuff was gonna hit somebody. So thank you, Ed. Thank you. Deontay, overall impression.
Oh man, 10 out of 10. I think that, there's something that really which I've been reflecting on, is that make a right and keep straight.
Yeah.
And it's so important to the work that we do. Because sometimes we are so close to the infection, trying to get everyone else cleansed or encouraging folks to get that, we end up causing ourselves harm. And when I first started getting into the work, that was a real big thing of my aesthetic. I'd be making a right, and then I'll go back left trying to save somebody else. But I had to look at self to do that. So I think within getting back into this position, I think I think about that a lot as I'm doing the work. And I think one of the biggest takeaways was that Tuesday night, those youth, how spot on they were, how attentive they were, and also taking a deeper dive in Kimba's story, and watching the youth and how they reacted to the story. And honestly, I've been taking that to some of the schools that I've outreached to, even within and outside of this work, just for folks to tap in, because I think that we leave out sometimes we're having the conversation about community violence and we leave women out. And what relationships can do. And I think that that's a big part of a lot of the work that we're doing now. So I'm just super grateful and just in awe of being taught by you. And also being taught by some of my community folks, not just that were in the room, but, I say it once and I say it again, Mark Rivers, I've seen you speak in spaces, but I think visibly being able to hear you speak. And there was a conversation that's not for me to repeat, but it was about fatherhood, that you could hear a pin drop inside of that space on the dialogue that you and Dr. Marshall were having. And it just will always stick with me. So definitely, can't wait for you to pay for our plane tickets, Dr. Marshall, for us to come back. So you just let us know.
If I get a big grant, brother. Okay. It's the young people, and Lady and I, Stella and I have been teaching for years. If you're saying something, they're gonna listen. If you're probably not hitting something somewhere. Now they may not act like they listen or want to listen, but they know, man, I don't want to hear that. Okay, well, that doesn't, okay, all right, okay. I know you don't want to hear it. That don't mean it's not good for you to hear, right? And I'm always amazed by those kids who open up this material, because, a lot of them just want to, keep it away, keep everybody away, keep everything away. You don't know me, you don't understand me, you know what I'm going through. Yeah, okay, I get that. So yeah, Tuesday and Thursday night is it. Dom, what's overall impression?
I kind of said it when we were there. It gave me energy. It gave me energy. It gave me, it made me realize I want to be back. Like the reason why I do what I do was being at the ground level and actually working with the folks in the community, hands-on, the little homies the families, my people, my community, right? And then my organization now has about 100 employees almost at this point, right? Full-time employees. So like I said, it shifted me into a CEO level where I'm doing all the CEO work and I'm not in the community like I want to be in. So being in space with you guys, watching the actual training, seeing my comrades in the work, feed in, give comments, learn and grow, learning and growing on my own, taking in the information that I was taking in, it gave me energy, bro. So now I'm back with a new fire underneath me, a new energy in my system, and a new way I'm moving now. Like I'm excited because I want to send more people down and more people down and more people down. I plan on sending a lot of people to you to come back with the same energy because that shifts the culture of the work. That shifts the culture of the organization. When you get that kind of knowledge and wisdom that you gave us in that training, it literally will shift the dynamics of how we do our work every day and how we come to work with that energy and that fire underneath us to keep pushing and growing and building. So I appreciate you, man.
Send them all, man. Maybe I'll come up there. You just put them all in a room and let's go at it. Mark, man, Luther talk like you like the second coming of man. She's like Mark.
And I appreciate her for that.
Overall impression.
Man, it was a time. Let me just say that, man. It was a time. To be a facilitator of the curriculum myself, and to have done it for so many years, it's just refreshing.
Yeah.
Come and sit down, with the master of this thing, and just to hear the way that you deliver it. You don't tell people things. You don't tell them. You ask them questions so that they can give the medicine to themselves. And so masterful, the way that you facilitate the curriculum. But nostalgic for me. I haven't worked for Live and Free probably in like I might be on year 7 or something like that. So I've been away from the concepts and the curriculum and all of that for a while. And so just to be back in that space, to hear that familiar language that I know changes lives, man, it was nostalgic.
Yeah, man, living that Alive and Free lifestyle make you feel good. And everybody know when they see me, they say, Dr. Marshall, how are you today? I'm alive and free. Well, I mean, look, I'm good. That's a blessing. Being alive and free is a blessing because you can make anything happen. Who did I not ask yet? The overall impact of the training. Did I ask Dom? Is Dom going to ask Dom? Yeah. Gerald, I am sorry, sir. Overall impact. We got 2 minutes before we take a break, then we're coming back.
All right, quickly. I'm holding up this book, this original book. Okay. Why it was impactful for me. Dr. Marshall, I read your book when I first started doing the work, and I've been doing the work for a few decades. Never had an opportunity to come and meet you until linking in with the Luthera and this wonderful team. And I'll tell you, I learned so much. It's been just, no one's ever asked me how violence has affected me.
Yeah.
And just sitting back and having to write that paper. And to folks in this space talking about just having to do the internal work that's necessary, right? We do this work and sometimes we're not really looking at how violence has impacted us. And so it was refreshing to get a different look at the work through a different lens. I do want to say this before we get up out of here, for the break. So I had an opportunity to watch your staff support you and your work. And Lady Estelle, to what others have said already, just coming in and watching you work with the young people was amazing. Stefan always was there in the wings every step of the way, and your support staff was you guys was like an orchestra, Count Basie. you guys was playing music and the kids was vibrating to it. And it was, I can't wait to share with you what I've been doing with the curriculum in community.
So to bring it to today, we was a 6888, okay? We were working just like them women was working, all together for one common goal. They did the mail. We're trying to keep people alive and free. Yes, 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 yes. All right, we got to take a break, right? We're coming back. Get ready. We're going to break down the pieces. I want to know what resonates with you. I want to know everything and anything that you like. I don't really get that part. Bring it out. Bring it on. Let's make it happen. We'll be back with more Alive and Free Street Soldiers. All right. Hour number two, Alive and Free Street Soldiers Radio. We are joined by the trainees from our latest Alive and Free Prescription Training Institute. It was wonderful. They were marvelous. They they came back after the first day. They put up with me for 3 days. And I'm so happy they are joining us, the world, because I want everybody to know this information. And I do. I want everybody to know this information because it's information that saves lives. It will save your life. And how many times, and I work with young people, they knows that we have, well, I didn't know. If I had known, I didn't know that, well, I wasn't thinking like that. This is the way I'm thinking. So our job is to give, people, I'm going to say young people, a different way of thinking because the way they thinking now, they think it's going to work. And it ain't keeping them alive and free. It ain't keeping them alive and free. And everybody knows that I use different ways of saying that. One of the things I like saying is I want to create safe people. I want to create people I don't have to worry about. And that is beautiful to be in the space with people. You really don't have to worry about them doing something crazy. That is just, with you and Lady E and my son and, he gets enough of this on Sunday. Mike does, I ain't got to worry about him, I don't know how I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but here, and it's wonderful. And it's just great. There are places you got to go. I don't know. I got to worry about this guy. I don't want to worry. If I can create people that I don't have to worry about, I can have my kids around them, Malcolm got married yesterday, right? We don't have to worry about them people. Oh, and I didn't tell you that, Luther. He got married yesterday. No drama. It was cool. Everybody was wonderful. It was family. Family flew in from everywhere. The bride's family flew in. My oldest daughter came from Washington, D.C. Doors was open. I seen weddings get shot up. Okay. I seen funerals get shot up. Now, so to create people that won't do those things and to be in the space of folks, that's, and I don't have to worry about them. I ain't got to worry about them. I can trust my life with them. Okay. And a lot of people I can say that about. Anyway, let's go to, is Ursula, you're the only one I didn't get to ask what your overall impression of the training was. And then we go get to some specifics.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had technical difficulties, so I had to reinstall Zoom on my iPad, so it was more stable. So sorry about that. So my impressions from Alive and Free was I liked how you use medical terminology to violence, like it's like a medical problem, an issue.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Just constructive as the cancer or any other disease, the body.
Yeah.
Which is part of the body, so emotional, just wreaks havoc. So in society too. Yes,
and that whole concept of violence as a disease, and I use the computer early on, like the great instrument. The worst they can get is a virus. There's nothing wrong with the computer, but if it gets that virus, it gets infected, and then you can do with it. So you either go get somebody to get rid of virus or put some virus protection on there, right? But we don't see bad computers, right? They get infected, and that's the way we see people. They get this thought process in their head that they think is really good, but it ain't. Yes, and it's our job to point out. So that medical model doesn't assassinate anybody's character. And Lady E knows this. I don't know any bad kids. I know kids doing bad things, but I know some infected kids, right? And you can get infected early on. You can get infected. I saw some crazy movie, and this little girl got infected at the age of 6 because she got molested at the age of 6. It was terrible. I mean, I got to say this stuff because I'm a doctor, right? Doctors got to deal with the stuff, right? The girl got at 6. She said, imagine losing your virginity at 6. So she grew up thinking sex was normal, right? So she became a prostitute on things. And you might have seen the movie. It's called Sinners. I don't know if you ever see that movie, Sinners. It's actually very good. A lot of those movies aren't, but this one is good. And but these little kids, right? Some people get affected later in life, right? But yeah, thank you, Ursula. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right. Highlights. Oh, well, and she gets to speak anytime she wants. Overall impact. Okay. Ann says you have to speak because your hand is up. Hey, Luther.
I love that. Thanks, Ann. I guess, Doc, I was just thinking about what you were saying about safe people. And you're right, I talk about Mark, but I talk about Kat, and I talk about Dom, and I could talk about Deontay, and I could talk about Gerald. I think about a real friend will never lead you to danger. A real friend will lead you to street soldiers. A real friend will lead you to Alive and Free.
Yep.
And so I think about all the people that are on this call that I love, admire.
She froze.
And I work with so closely, and I think the best thing did I freeze?
You're back. You're back. You're back.
I'm back. The best thing I can do is bring people to the home. I think about Deontay I think he had to hop off this call, but I've known him since he was 16 years old, and that's over 20 years ago. And for over 20 years, we've been speaking in Alive and Free, which I think has become my love language. It's a language I could use with the people I know the most and the closest to me. I could talk about the more you know, the more you owe. And I could talk about, all you got to do is turn right and keep straight. I can talk about, some get it right away, some get it sooner or later, some never get it at all. Like, it's just such a special thing to be able to realize that you're surrounding yourself with people who speak that language.
And it's great. This won't work unless you really do it pure. You can't fool around. You can't jimmy it. You can't, because it's not a money thing. It's information. Don't try and, thank you, Luther. Thank you so much. And you weren't around when back in the day when when all the drug dealers and gangbangers was in the room up at the neighborhood house. That's when the dope thing was. You'd have been fine. But I remember, and they was like, they came because the other neighborhoods was there. I mean, that's why they came. They come. I'm gonna look at dude gonna be there, man. And I would, Corey says I done tamed down a little bit. Probably, I don't know. But, I was like, and one of the lines I had with them, because I used to a couple times I bring my daughter with me, right? And I look back at them and says, man, is my little girl safe around you? That's a standard I'm holding you to, bro. Is my daughter safe around you? Right? If I walk out of this room, do I have to worry about her? No, Dr. Marshall, man, you ain't got to worry about me. Okay, now, to make sure I ain't got to worry, let's purge you of all those things that it might cause me worry, right? But when you put it, the way you put it gets people, and all I try to do is give people things to think about. You guys know, I'm gonna throw it out there. And what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because it's the thinking that drives the action. All right, you're getting now to give me the highlights. What was just a knockdown, straight out highlight for you, Mark Rivers?
I think it was the dad conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I also agree. Like, fathers are so important to these young people's lives. And so us being able to dive into what really, and from a kid's perspective, like what qualities make up a good father.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And be able to give my thoughts on it. But man, that was special.
Thank you. Back for more. Gerald, a highlight for you.
Honestly, Dr. Marshall, because I'm a coach, the coach jiggets, coachisms
Oh man.
They stuck with me real hard.
Good as gold, bro.
And because I got back and I've got to see my young people in detention, and I printed off the rules for living, and the Coach Jiggett's sayings.
Yeah.
And down in the classrooms, because the kids go to school, I mean, they're locked up. So down in detention, they have all these Coach Jiggett saying all in the classroom, everywhere we've been going. And so the kids, we talked about the coachisms, we talked about each one, and then I asked them whether or not they wanted to put this on their walls, so that when I'm not there, they could be seeing the messaging, right?
Yep.
And so I'm slowly introducing, not even slowly. Every time I have my session, I'm introducing a portion of Alive and Free into that space. One of the things, and I will say this before I get off, is that so they have in the detention, they have a recording studio, and I gave the young kids the hip hop commentary, hip hop's unspoken 10 commandments, right?
Yeah. What'd they think about that?
The young brothers came and he said, "Man, I changed my whole rap style. I'm rapping about love right now."
What? For real.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. You know, I mean, right now I have a captive audience in detention, and I'm coming in with 3 other men, black men, and we're talking to black and brown and poor white kids, and them kids are feeling what we're talking about. Today, you know, we again, Coach Jiggetts is there with us, Dr. Marshall. And so if I had to take anything away, I mean, the fatherhood conversation to Mark, and I want to say this in this space, man, you're amazing.
Appreciate you, big dog.
You're amazing.
I want to tell you something. I got this group at the county jail right now. They did for something that a brother that took the training. He said, "Man, okay, I got to clear with the sheriff's department. We're gonna do a pilot. You can come for 6 sessions every other week, right?" So, you know, my schedule's crazy, so I'm able to do it consecutively like it wanted to, but and it takes a while for this stuff to kind of make, because when you first hear it, yeah, well, you know, that sounds good. That kind of sound good, yeah, you know, and it has to work on you, right? It has to work on you. And the last session I was gone, and I was supposed to come every other week. Well, I didn't come for 3 weeks, and I walked in and said, "Y'all forgot me, huh?" "Oh, man, we ain't forgot you, man. We ain't forgot you, man." So that whole session, the first part of that session, I said, "Look, I want you to read these. We went through every coachism. Man, tell me what you think. Tell me which one you like. Tell me which one you like. Which one makes sense to you?" Man, they love them things, man. They're like, "Yeah, you're right, man. Man, they don't make it, but work, but don't work. Don't work. It don't make sense to do stuff that don't work. I've been doing stuff that don't work my whole time." I said, "Man, you know, well, then I'm just giving you something to think about, right? I mean, you said you want to stay alive and pray. You said you want to get out and stay out. You know, part of the reason is that you went back to wasn't working. And it's just having no, look, so this is the truth." And we went through the whole thing. When I got ready to leave, because I had the paper, right? The same paper I gave you, I had it printed out. He said, "Can I keep this?" I said, "Yeah, man, keep it, keep it, He said, "Can I add some more to get to the rest of the brothers on the unit?" I was dying, man. You talk about some good information inside of the jail being dispensed by other inmates. And they're like, "Man, I'm trying to tell you what to do, dude, but just what you think about this?" Those things are so powerful. So powerful because their intentions are pure. Are they really trying? So them coaches, man, we all live by those. And by the way, Mrs. Stell did at least 4 of those, right? And so yeah, I love hearing that because I never seen that. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna give it to these other guys on the unit because man, we be talking about nothing around here. We be fighting and we got attitudes.
Dr. Marshall, before we get out, I will say this. I was able to I retyped it all up, and I was able, so they all have copies of the coachisms. They have copies of the rules for living. And I saw one of the young guys had this posted up in his room. So again, we're just trying to give them food for thought, challenging their thinking. And while everything is still, and trying to equivocate to making sure that education is part of their equation and trying to just uplift them by just staying at it and staying consistent. So I want to thank you again, man. I don't get very often to where I get trainings that we're able to truly apply in real time immediately. And yours was phenomenal.
That made me feel good because that's my goal, to use it on you. Kat, highlight.
When Deontay and I went back that Tuesday evening, and when the kids were there, they were watching the Kimba movie, analyzing it, breaking it down scene by scene, met Lady Estelle on the big screen, and being a witness to their brilliance and was a highlight to me. There was one kid that stood up and pointed out the red flag that Kimba's boyfriend and called it love bombing. And I'm like, and he was so articulate, and yeah, it was really good being there with the kids.
Yeah, that lab was like, oh man, this stuff really worked. You know, I mean, yeah, they really, yes, thank you so much. Dom, highlight.
My highlight, Doc, was the conversation about hip hop.
Yeah.
That was my highlight. My highlight was because like I could go real deep into that conversation in that space in that time, but I got more I felt like it wasn't a space for me to, because I've researched this, I've studied this, I'm talking all the way to the algorithms and the
Right.
you know, hertz and ohms and all, right, you know what I mean? And so I
Right.
didn't want to go. What I did do was sit back and listen and watch and understand, wow, we have been so desensitized
Yeah.
and so brainwashed,
Yeah.
right? To the point where we don't even understand what we're listening to is affecting us in a negative way or a positive way. We don't even know no more, right? We've just overlapped. And so I walked away from there going, how do we develop the right curriculum to show young people how social media and hip hop has developed a whole social norm for us that is not a norm, that is not normal for us. It's not how we operate, right? Our brain has been indoctrinated with these thoughts, and we don't understand the power of music.
Been hijacked.
It's been hijacked. I'll say this last thing. If we can get into a spiritual realm of this,
yeah.
And we'll just get into Christianity. Let's talk about the devil was the minister of music in heaven.
Yep.
Right? And because he got cast down to earth, doesn't mean his job changed.
Oh, or he couldn't sing no more.
Right. But and then if we look at the centuries of music, we went from Black Power in hip hop. We went from I'm Black and I'm Proud in R&B. We went from, and now to calling our women what we call them.
Yep.
And saying how we can go kill and.
Yep.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And how did that develop? The enemy was cool and cunning to develop that and get us into a space where we're complacent with us. And now here we are. And so that conversation stuck with me. And I'm trying to figure out, how do we develop a curriculum that will actually show people, even adults, not just our youth, our adults need to understand, right?
Yeah.
So that was what hit me.
That's a huge challenge, and plunge in there, brother. Plunge in there, please, because you know anything that affects their life of freedom, it ain't off limits. That has an effect, right? Social media has an effect. Friends have an effect, right? So, yeah, I you know that hip hop's unspoken 10 is great. I love the thing of downloading the lyrics and then having the boys read them in front of the girl. Excuse me. And then
my time in that.
Why can't you do it? Well, why can't you do it? No, man, I can't say this in front of these girls. Yeah, okay. Well, can you rap it? Yeah. I can do it. Music can make you do things you ain't even thinking of doing, right? Right. So yeah, wonderful. All right. Who didn't I ask yet? Doug. Right. Highlight.
Well, since I've been working with the fathers more recently, I've focused on that. What's a good dad? And I was asking them if they had to put together a job description for themselves as well as for their children, because my background is dealing with employment and training. And so I said, let's develop a job description for dad, and then let's develop a job description for children. And you can specify whether it's the daughter or the son. I don't care. But I was looking for some similarities. And so we've been dealing with that as well. And just breaking it down with some of the given curriculum that I have. Of course, I've implemented some things that from here, even the prescription card that you had, that laminated prescription card.
Yeah. Stefan's,
yeah, because these guys have been, in some cases, these guys have not been around their children for 10, 15 years in some cases. And so they're just going back to deal with them. And then some have physically been there only and not mentally been there because they've been drugging and doing some other things. So that's what stuck with me. A good dad is. And then I said, well, a good son and daughter is as well. What does that look like as well? So that resonated with me as well, from that perspective.
The wonderful thing about this prescription is that any piece of it helps. Any part, any piece of it, all of it in concert is like, woo. But if you just take a coachism, you just take the fatherhood, you just take the music piece, and you just take, well, Lord, I'm gonna ask about social media in a minute, right? If you just take the commandments, if you just take any of that, it all can help, and you can integrate it into whatever you're doing. Unless you ain't really trying to sing, you're trying to kill people, ain't gonna work. But yes. Ursula, what highlight? Give me a highlight for you. If you can unmute and give me a highlight.
Here I am. So many highlights, but I think the dad subject, that's probably, it's all equally important and intense, but I just see like firsthand the impact of, young boys or men who don't have the guidance of a father. There was an unfortunate incident at the job that I'm not going to get into, but this person that I worked with didn't have a father, and I could tell he was young, at least for me. So I could see where he kind of got led astray, and hopefully that was a wake up call for him. I know, but that's a highlight. Kimba's story was a good one that I related to, because that could have been easily me. In high school, there, but with the grace of God go I. It wasn't. It could have been, but her story had a happy ending, which is, hopeful, because a lot of us are pretty resilient. Just come out of something like that stronger. Because I know there's a lot of people that they just be lost. So in my line of work, it's good for me to remember to be compassionate when I see somebody that's down and out, because I work in mid-market, Tenderloin. It's like the poorest neighborhood district, and in the city by far. And just like not judge, because you never know how they got there. It's not, you just know, that could have been Kim, because she came from a good family. She just got kind of led astray. Doesn't mean her life's over, but some people she probably had a hard time with people judging her, I'm sure. But
as long as you're alive and free, you got a chance. Just take the medicine. Take the medicine. Take the medicine. Let's jump in. I got to have a comment from you on social media, and we heard a little, and anybody can jump in on this. And Luther, you did this whole thing on social media, man, and Luther was like, she just broke it down. Okay. So we're being programmed. I mean, she just like, boom, she boom, 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 boom. Now, I love when people get to that level, because they ain't even trying to pretend like there might be something good. Yeah. So you have to acknowledge, I know you can get some good out of it, but I ain't what I'm talking about. And normally when I talk about social media, I have to say, I know you can get, but that's not the reason I'm here, right? So Luther just boom, and especially what's going on today, and, the makers of that documentary, every time I read that, it freaks me out because it's happening in real time right now. But Social media. And the thing with that was my challenge with the kids. I'm getting ready to talk to them about this in the next couple of months. Does it control you or do you control it? And control is everything. I don't care if it's what you drink, smoke, whatever you do, control. We got to have control. So your thoughts about social media and that conversation?
Well, I mean, I think about this all the time, Doc. It's the biggest unprotected social interaction. And if we think about germs, if we think about how the disease of violence spreads, you can't put a filter between somebody's fingertip and the button they're pressing. You can't put a filter between their eyes and their ears and what they're consuming an inch and a half away from their face. And so, I think about power, domination, and control, and the device that I really appreciate the comment about being desensitized, right? We are so deeply desensitized, but that's by design. It's not a matter of fault, it's by design. Power, domination, and control, it's pain pimping and profiteering to get a young person who's socially isolated during COVID and give them, limited access to education, except for what they can get at school, and school's closed. And they can't be around people that can put positive information into their minds. And so there they are, entertaining themselves, and they're gamifying violence as a way to entertain themselves. And the machine is profiting off of them. The machine is profiting off of these young people who are now at a hair trigger because their self-regulation skill, you're watching it all happen in social media and people are faking it. If you can take a picture of yourself and you can Photoshop yourself into looking like almost an entirely different human being, you can take a little comment that it isn't. You can spin it into something that is now war. So I just think about, the pain that our young people are actually in, that they need to turn to that to find themselves soothed and to give themselves, something to keep themselves company. So, I think about the work that Dom and Mark and some of the other folks that were down there in the training, and they have to respond to every critical incident, to every shooting. They have to be responsive to the consequences of what these young people are going through right now. And social media, to me, again, I'm going to say it again, it's the biggest unprotected social interaction. It is the fastest way to spread the disease of violence.
And actually, Luther, what I have seen, I ain't really worried about the kids. I can have conversations with the kids about this stuff. It's these crazy adults who are running around coming up with what? What do you want? Come on, what are you talking about? That's not true. I mean, it's my biggest fear is that my kids are gonna grow up and become adults because they fine now. They'll listen. But it's these adults that are like taking this place in a whole nother a place of non-compassion. And the movie The Social Dilemma was so apt. This has spelled it out. It's spelled it out. And it's doing it, and it's in real time. And they're under the, they can make something that's not true, and people believe in it. So,
that's right.
But I will say this: I love young people. Young people, they'll fight, they'll march, they'll figure it out. They don't want to be, they're still open, right? They ain't in the left, right, middle, or whatever. They into right and wrong. Okay, they ain't into the labels. That ain't right, Dr. Marshall. That ain't right. They didn't even come up. It only comes up with the grown-ups. Those crazy words. Anybody else thoughts on social media?
I had someone like 5 or 6 weeks ago, a neighbor of mine, we were having a conversation outside the building, and he literally said, I can't live without my phone. I can't live without it. That was his words. And I was thinking to myself, whoa, you can't live without it? I mean, before that, is that serious? I think like if historians are around in the future and they have historians, they're going to say, that was the negatives going to outweigh the positives for sure.
I can't live without, wow, what a statement. I can't live without my phone. Yes, you can. You just think you can't. Okay.
Yeah, but that's might never matter. Maybe it wouldn't.
Yeah. Anybody else? Thoughts on social media?
I hate it.
That's so obvious that we don't even have to bring it down. Okay. All right. The metaphor, how can I say this? The metaphor of the balloon. I think, and we're getting ready to talk to the young people about that. We've gone through 2/3 of the year, and we haven't talked about dealing with your own anger, fear, and pain, right? Hurting people hurt people. And once you get past the head part, don't think like this. Get rid of those risk factors. Even when you got those coaches, they help, but you're gonna have to do some internal work on yourself, right? And manage your own stuff. And just, I actually showed the guys in jail that same video I showed you. Remember the guy in the wheelchair, testimony with treatment, and those guys were like, man, and they were like, wow, they were like, and I didn't tell them the ending of the guys, right? What happened? Did he so? I mean, you would the best class I had sometime. I mean, I could go to Howard and not have a class as good as them guys when they get focused, and they got all these distractions in jail. They got jail. It's hard to teach in jail. They got noise going on. They got what they medical call. They got and all of them got issues, man. I got this one brother. He come mad every time I'm there. And I said, brother, your balloon's full. I'm gonna take it personal. I know you're mad, man. They ain't treating me right in here, man. I'm gonna hate being dependent on these people. I understand, brother. I understand. Now if you want to get away from them and not have them in charge of your life, but man, just sit here and listen. And he's cool. He'll calm down, man. It's just that balloon. Any thoughts on how you doing with your balloon? Because I gave each one of you one. Are you managing your stuff in your balloon? Don't be nodding and say yes or no. Just say yes or no. I'm hanging. It's a struggle. Give me.
Yeah. It's one of the. It's so powerful, but it's so simple at the same time.
Yeah.
And when you teach it to people, when people get the concept, I've automatically seen them feel more in control of themselves. And if they're feeling a certain kind of way, they're feeling like their balloon is full, like to go, do some exercise and get it out, write journal, write it down, get it out. But that piece of being able to get it out and knowing that you need to let some air out of your balloon, that's what, really, really puts people in power over their emotions.
And it's funny because I'm in jail with this guy. Ain't no therapist, right? That guy, you send him to the therapist, right? He got to do it on his own, right? I admire him for listening and trying. So, yeah. Anybody else? The balloon. How you doing with your balloon?
I'd like to go, Dr. Marshall, and I'm doing well with my balloon, but I just want to come back to my team and I shared with the guys that go into detention with me. I've really just been talking about Alive and Free. And we developed some modules around anger. And we already had one on fear, pain, trauma, respect. I'm getting a call from the prison right now.
Say that one for last.
I'm getting a call from the prison right now. But my team and I were talking about when we introduce these concepts, we need to actually go and talk to the psychologist at the jail. Let her know what we're planning on doing so that getting them the 411, so if young people want to be able to have that conversation with the psychologist, they can do so, right? Because a lot of those kids, and we've been talking in the group, they're all suffering some one form of trauma or another. And these systems don't do a real good job of really trying to get the young people to be talking about what's going on. And so right now, what you've taught us, because I had to figure out how to go ahead and implement this, but being able to have the prescription without the treatment is different than being able to have the prescription with the treatment.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been talking about, is how do you actually, once we get going down this road, how can we actually make sure that young people are being able to be supportive? And we talked about yoga, healthy communications, and actually starting to model what that looks like. And it's just, I find that when we're in the detention, because we've been going down there for a while, We're building up good rapport with the young people and just trying to get them, because they're stressed out, and trying to get them not have their balloons pop to where you're assaulting staff and others, trying to just get them to start thinking. So I just wanted to share that we're thinking about the prescriptions and being able to identify the right partners that we need to have in the space when we really start to have these real deep conversations.
Jail is stressful. Okay, it's jail. It's not made not to be stressful. It's punishment. Okay, punishment is stressful. So, if you can keep your head when all about you losing theirs and blaming it on you, my favorite If poem by Rudyard Kipling, that ain't easy to do in jail, right? Especially when you're around around other full balloons. Much love to all of you for what you are doing. Now let me get to the big dog in the room. I should say respect. Respect. Now, let me just say about respect. I never expect anyone to get this after that day. All I do is throw things out there and hope they will give you something to think about. Because the rule is no one can disrespect you if you respect yourself. Respect comes from within. Now, of course, that's the answer to lady, you know the word I'm trying to say. Of the way we deal with respect, man. Fool disrespected me, right? So I laid some things out. I went through a whole scenario, but not hoping just a little like when I say, when you get ready to say, I feel disrespected, say the feeling, right? Or say you disrespected me, say the action, right? So I tried to just lay out little things that would help, because that word is so loaded, you disrespected my neighborhood. No, you wrote on the wall. Okay, so okay now, because a lot of people don't know it. But I gotta ask you, now that you've been away from that, and a couple people miss it. That's why I don't like people leaving early. That's the hardest one of all. What are your weeks later thought about that whole respect
thing? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to say I agree with what you say, that you can't be disrespected, but my perspective as a woman, female, I have a different angle on it, because from personal past experience growing up, disrespect and contempt usually precedes some kind of violence. In my estimation, somebody, if you're gonna disrespect you, they can, it's dangerous for a woman. Maybe it's a little bit different from a male, but I agree with, it's not an ego thing. It's mostly, for protection for me. I mean, words are just words. Somebody calls you a name doesn't mean you're that name. But, dealing with people regularly, in the street, right, it's no problem. If somebody doesn't want to say hi back, that's fine. But I'm just talking about interpersonal relationships. Respect is really,
all right. Thank you, Ursula, for your feedback on that one. All right. Go ahead. Anybody else got any thoughts on that? Or is that one that you still processing? Because that's the one that takes you all the way to the top of Alive and Free. All right. Well, they didn't say nothing, so okay. Go ahead, Mark.
Like labeling your feeling, like what's the real feeling? Just that challenging somebody's brain to actually have to sift through and not, stand on the generic answer of, you disrespected me, but like, what am I actually feeling? Yeah, that can really help somebody process what they actually got going on upstairs. Right. And really how they feel. And so me, I never heard it like that, but once we all went through, he was like, no. What is it?
What is it? Right.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, I think it's huge. That's huge in the helping of rewiring how somebody thinks when it comes around their emotions. Like, loved it.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Again, Dr. Marshall came back and developed a module around respect and disrespect, and we actually were using it in detention. And it was to Mark's point, when the young men had to identify what they feel was disrespectful, then now we're using our words and we're not acting it out. And there was a breakthrough last week when somebody accused somebody of taking something, and ultimately it was found on the desk. But instead of the kids acting out, they actually identified what the problem was. They used their words. And so, to your point, this works. This works. These prescriptions work, but it's just really, really sitting and spending the time to get the young people to really be challenging their thinking and their conditioning.
Doc.
Yes, sir.
And what I've done with the whole disrespect piece that you said, I haven't had a lot of time to delve into it, but I asked the guys, especially when they talk about their kids, helping them to define how they were disrespected, so that at least a person can then correct their action.
Right, correct the behavior. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Correct the behavior. So at least starting at least on that level. I haven't delved too deep into it because I am not a mental health professional. So a lot of times I don't open up a lot of things that I'm not comfortable with opening up and then properly closing them, because I don't have that background, and nor do I have that support that I can tell them to go to as well in my environment, in my work environment.
You all know I think everybody knows I love LeBron James. I'm just the biggest LeBron James fan in the world. Okay. Even I'm in the Bay, it don't mean I don't love Steph of the words. I just love LeBron. So when LeBron won that 4th championship, and he's walking around, I think I said this at the training, and LeBron is like, we just won our championship. I want the Lakers to get their respect. And then he said, and I want my damn respect too. I'm like, LeBron, you just won the championship. What else is that? What else do you want? You at the pinnacle of success. What do you want people? And that's what I would tell them. Bro, relieve yourself of that. You won. Isn't that what you're playing this game for? You want people to kiss your ring? You want people to bow down to you? There's something out there that they want. And it says there's a hole in him because he's saying, LeBron, you won. That's the goal. And I will tell him that when I meet him. Of course, I ain't going to meet him, but I will tell him that because I'm trying to relieve people of that burden, trying to get acknowledgement from the outside when it's got to come from the inside. It's got to come from inside because you might not get it. I just thought that, boy, you need to come to Alive and Free just for this training, just for this concept. Lady E, you are the teacher. Lady E is the one who developed, unmute, you ready? Okay, come on. Always listen to your background music. She came up with that one, okay? She's the one that came up with your gift will make room for you. She's the one that came up with, and we had this one with the kids probably every week. Never give them a reason to tell you no. And there might be some more that she added to that list, but Lady E, you were not able to be with them, but you have been with them for the last 2 hours. So go ahead, teach on.
Well,
that's the teacher.
What I have is the wrap up, because clearly what you've done and what you said and what they said has made it clear that the teaching has been done. You did that. And now they're teaching. So the teaching is happening all the way around. You teaching, they teaching, we are all teaching and learning and doing and making things happen. So what can I say? Except go ahead. Keep on.
It's nice for all of us to be saying the same thing. It's nice for all of us to be telling young people, a friend will never lead you to danger. I hear these stories about back in the day, you went to one parent and you heard it from that parent, you went to another parent, you went to that parent, you went to this, and you was miles away from home, and they didn't have no cell phones in, so I don't know how the hell this parent knew what this parent was doing with it, but they was all saying the same thing, right? So when I go to Seattle, I'm there with Luther, and their kids talk about the full balloon. And I heard that, right? And I go there and they say, love will never lead you to danger, right? I'm saying, damn, damn, that common language that's specifically designed to keep your butt alive and free. And that's what's so wonderful about this common terminology that I think a lot of us knew anyway, but we're just putting in a language that we can all say the same thing. And it's great. I mean, you could go to South Africa, you hear the same thing there. These kids like, oh man, now sometimes you got to define what's danger, but that's okay. We got a starting point. So thank you all. Anybody want to say anything before Lady E jumps in and does the wrap up, which she does so well? Anybody want to add anything?
It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You are, look, Ursula, look, you was my student in front of me. You was wonderful. And you just let me mess with you for 3 days, girl. You definitely gonna be here. And you can come see me anytime. All right.
I wanted to comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stefan. Jump.
It's okay. Well, I want to go back to when the brother from Seattle, we were talking about that hip hop and how it reminds me of Doc always talks about how, it's that genre of hip hop music that we're talking about, how I don't know if we mentioned it in training, how we talk about it's the perfect murder because everybody's in on it, from the artist to the record label to to email. Doc talked about hip hop stations.
Radio.
So I hear a lot of young people who rap this rank. Well, it ain't our fault. They say the other people are putting the money into it. It's not us. No, everybody, you're in on it. And I explained to them why they're in on it. And so I think that's very important to let them know that they're in on it. A lot of them think they're not. They think, well, it ain't me. I didn't put the money up. Somebody else did, but you're in on it. So I think that's important.
Using your stuff to put the money into. So
yeah, that's exactly. So and a lot of the hip hop artists, I know we always talk about the youth. But a lot of these hip hop artists that we hear on the radio, these are grown men with kids.
Absolutely.
These are not youth. These are grown men with kids. So a lot of times we give youth a bad name when it's a lot of stuff that happening in the community are actually men over 21, 25, 26, 27.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, 25, 30. So I just wanted to say that. And then again, when we talk about the coaches, that's my favorite piece of the training is the coaching, as you know, Doc. I love the coaches. I'm here now at this facility. I'm doing some volunteer work, and that's how I met Mr. Douglas. And using those coaches, it's working. I just want to throw that out there. Thank you, guys. Great to see all you guys again.
You guys are a special group. There are very few people in the world who care about people and know this information that can affect their lives and stop the violence. But then Jesus only had 12 disciples, and you saw what he did. So I ain't worried about numbers. I'm worried about information because I know the impact that one individual can have. Lady E.
So I've heard so many wonderful things tonight. I've heard how the training and the information that was received can change, modify, increase one's awareness when it comes to parenting, how it can be used to help ones who are locked up. I think, who was that who said that? Gerald, when he said, when I'm not there, I'm going to tell you that people who get something from you that impacts them, it is important to them that they see you, that they have you around, but they can't see you. You can't be there all the time. But when you leave something with them that they can hold on to, it's like you are always present. That's wonderful. The spiritual aspect of the training, the material that you get it, I heard that mentioned. Oh my goodness. When you into the spiritual part, then transformation is not only powerful, it becomes something that is, I'm going to use this word, everlasting. Because it goes beyond the brain. It gets into your heart. It gets into one's being. And even though I talk about background music, because that's something inside that lets you know, pay attention. It could be something horrible. It could be something wonderful. But whatever it is, you can't touch it, but you know it's there and it's talking to you and it's guiding you. So with that, and there's so much more that you said, that the information has been transformed and then, like they say in cooking, repurposed so that it can be accessible and unforgettable. And so it made me, these things came to my mind. When one's eyes are open, what might they see but tools and strategies to stay alive and free? Training, instruction, documentaries, music, dance, and social media. Words of wisdom to be a guide for making best choices to stay alive. Taking it all in, then pressing on, sharing that information, helping others learn and grow. Thinking, preparing, and choosing the right ones that will heal, transform, and in some cases, unknow. In order to open eyes so others can see just what they need to do to stay alive and free. This is Lady Estelle asking you to consider this.
Every time she does that, there is nobody can say anything because it's silence in the room because only she can do that. Thank you, Street Soldiers, Alive and Free, for being here tonight. Folks are gonna watch this. I'll get you the copy of the show during the week. You can show it to everybody, and just thank you. Thank you. I can't say that. There's nothing more valuable than an individual's life, right? Number one rule for living, and you're saving lives. So let's keep it going. Because a lot of people don't want you to do that. But the ones that lives, they're going to say thank you. And that's the best thing. Okay. See you, everybody. All right. Get some sleep. Get back to work. Keeping folks alive. If you need me, you know where I am.
Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.
Good night.